Alright, so let's see if this thing is working. Alright, yeah, seems to be working. Great. Set up the hotkeys and stuff. Yeah. Well, hi, welcome back to the stream of programming a new game completely live, unless you're watching this later, in which case less than live, dead. Well, we have I set up a mic this time, and now I have a camera, so the quality should be much better. We were yesterday. We had, let's see, what was the thing going last time? Yeah, we had the different. Yeah, I wanted to check into why the interpolation doesn't work that well, or I don't know if it's an interpolation problem, but there's this alpha, the alpha element of these things, like they're at the edges. You can see they're black, and I don't like the way they look. So let me just see how I am generating these things. Yeah, ftload character, maybe this can, because while I'm generating the atlas file, maybe that's the problem of how they are being rendered. Maybe it's an SDL thing. I don't really know. I don't like that. I don't really know. Let's see. Let's look for this load char. Load flags, those are the thing that I want. Flag indicating what to load. The load XX constants can be used to control the list loading phase, whether the outline should be scaled, whether to load bitmaps or not, or whether to hint the outline. Wait, is this what I did last time? Yep, the last one, the third one, yep. So load render, load force on hint. What does that do? What is the auto hinter even? By default, hinting is enabled, and the font's native hinter is preferred over the auto hinter. You can disable hinting by setting no hinting or change your preferred by setting no. What is hinting though? Those mathematical instructions are just display an outline. Display an outline from so it lines up with the rasterized grid. At low screen resolutions, hinting is critical for producing clear legible. Okay, I think this means that I need to put this in there. I guess this means we can enable hinting. Well, there are enabled hinting. I don't know. Force auto hint. You can also set no auto hint because you don't want the auto hint to be used at all. Interface like trickery, okay. What flags am I using here? Target light. I forgot these things. Let me copy it. Stop alt tabbing into OBS. Put this somewhere else. A lighter hinting algorithm for gray level models. Many generated clips are fuzzier but rather resemble the original shape. This is achieved by snapping glyphs to the pixel grid only vertically. Wait a minute. Wait. I remember something. Maybe this is a problem. Maybe the alpha component is not necessarily as black and white. Let me check. There's somewhere. If pixel RBG, if the one of them is equal to 0. Set it to no, that's in that case it's working though. Yeah, redoing looks nice. You get what the problem is. The problem is this black outline that you see on these things. It's more visible the smaller the font is, which means it has something to do with hinting or strong hinting algorithm that should only be used for monochrome output. The results probably unpleasant if the clip is rendered in non-monochrome mode. Let me try it mono. Alright. You gotta start playing with things until you have an idea how you would like it to be. Okay. Nope, this is not the way I want it. And still we're getting black lines, so I think this is not the problem. So maybe let me delete this and see if I don't force auto hint what would happen. Just say. Let me see this. Wait a second, let me say what this is. Alright, let's look nice. Okay, let me run this. I mean, I could just no. Okay, so let's check the flags. Let's try the default one. How will that look? This is the I broke it. What's the default one even? I don't know. I don't really know. Ignore advanced width. Load color. Load no hint. Let me disable hinting. Maybe the hinting is fucking it up there. Yeah, this looks worse and doesn't solve the problem. Does it exist in the other code though? Maybe this is only specific to my code here. Let me check the classifier. It works, but still with that problem. What about the ray tracer? I don't know if this is also. Yeah, if it exists there, it exists everywhere. Problem is with this code, probably. So format. Let me comment this one out. Let's see if we can. Let's see how different this one looks. What? Yeah, but so this one gives us the black ones. Now I want to tell it to look for. But there's a. Let me see, magnifier or snipping tool. I think it was full screen. No. No, that was a new thing. Never mind. Snipping tool. You're gonna tell me now snipping tool is migrating, snip and sketch. Okay, Windows logo shift and S. Oh yeah, that's the one. Okay. Now let me look at open it. No, don't do that. Open file. Save. God damn it, this is slow. Okay, so save it into pictures. Yeah, this computer is old. I've restored whatever I could restore out of it, but it's still old. And the CPU, you can't upgrade a laptop CPU. Okay, so that's what I want. So this is Exhibit A. Let's take a look what would happen if we bring back this code, which looks for anything that is not black and turns its alpha value to 0. Anything that's black and turns its alpha value to 0, making it transparent. Now let's go to Shift and S and take this and give it to me. Save it. No, wrong one, wrong one, wrong one. Shut up. No. What's bottlenecking my PC? G and U as well, yeah. Okay, this should solve the problem. Let's save this one and yeah, close it. Why is OBS taking so much? That doesn't make sense. Alright. No, it's back. It's okay. Okay, so I don't know what that was. For some reason, it was just okay. Now open this one, and this is Exhibit B. Now, what can we learn from comparing these things? Now, where is this thing actually happen? This thing is happening. So this thing is happening at anything that is not black. Not completely black, that is. So any color value that is not completely black, what's happening to it is that I could fix that. I could just assign the color value to the alpha value. It will make it... I think so. Wait a second. Let me see. So here I'm checking if the color is equal to 0. Now here's the wrong answer. If the color is equal to 0, set it to 0. Now I need to check if the color is larger than 0. If the color... Actually, I'll just do this. I don't know how well this will work though. Is it running? So. Huh! I think that fixes it. That was it. I was just assigning the. Let me take a screenshot. See how that one looks like. Yeah. Save it. We're here. I think it already saved somewhere. I'm taking an extra step here, an unnecessary extra step, but I think we should be done. Now, if you look at this, yeah, that's it, baby. So the problem was that my code was checking for any value that is not 0, which is black, which should be black, because at first it's making it a black image, a black on white image, as you can see in this one here. A white on black, it's just monochrome, one color. And I'm telling it, go through all these pixels, find me every pixel that is equal to 0, and set its alpha value to 0, the transparency value to 0, which happens to this. Now these gray things, gray spots, are technically not 0. They're a little bit higher than 0. They're not completely black. So he's ignoring these. And thus we have these kind of weird phenomenon. And this phenomenon happens more often the smaller the thing is, which means the blurrier it has to be, the more interpolation there should be, or anti-aliasing. Not anti-aliasing, blurriness, interpolation. There's some jargon for this, but the more you do that, the the more of this black edges thing you have. So what I tell it instead is just don't even think about it. Just assign the color to the alpha value. So if the color is whiter, make it more visible. If the color is less white, make it less visible. And then we get oh, fuck, here, this way, this shape. Ah, lost it. Yeah, this way everything looks as it would be if it was blurry, and from the back it looks nice. It looks fine. That was a very cool bug. I'm glad we fixed it. Now let's set up the next agenda. Next thing I want to do is I want to make buttons. Like just a system, or at least I want to set up the GUI first to render things efficiently, render buttons efficiently, to make a button. Actually, not even think about it. Just when I say it to render a button and give it this name, it should render the button and the text inside of it, and then spit it there. Simple as that. Quick, simple, easy. So let's do that. Let's go. Let me make a... Wait, am I? Yeah, I am. Huh. I was afraid for a second I wasn't. I was still on the standby page for some reason. GUI. Yeah. Buttons. It should update. All right. So, in order to render a button, we can we got to in order to render a button, we need to just tell it to wait. This is not our file. This is our file. This is our game. Closing the atlas, classify things work. Nice. In order to do the thing where it renders something, I wanted to so it's as simple as defining. Well, there's a couple of things actually, because we need to be checking for these. We need to be feeding it information about the rectangles. So we need a button struct that has the button rectangles, where it is, how big it is, and what color it is, and whether it's clicked, highlighted, or not. If it's highlighted, it's not clicked. If it's clicked, it's, So this way, when you like hover over the mouse over a rectangle to highlight it for you, and if you click on it to like do this satisfying thing like this. Yeah. So. So yeah, let's do a struct called button. Let's go to structs, where we keep the structs. Keys. Button. And inside of it, I want an STL rect, which is going to be only one rectangle. Actually, it would be nice to have a texture inside of it, maybe for later. So STL texture. It would need a boolean called highlighted, and it's going to be initialized as 0, and a boolean is clicked, and it's going to be initialized as 0 as well. So for now, this is what we want. We need to feed So we either have an array of buttons or a struct of buttons, but for now an array of buttons I think would make sense. No, I think so. I don't know. Like, let's just do one for now. The thing about these things, I feel like if I overthink too many steps forward, I just lose grasp of what's the right way to do things. So just think the best method, like I found that the best method is just to do the simplest. This is like, I think Casey Mortori suggests that, is that you should choose the simplest form of your idea and implement that, and then iterate on it and then build around it, but as long as you have the core working correctly. So in this case we just want a button to show correctly. So, oh yeah, we need to also maybe have a button text. So it's going to be a string text, and I use strings for rendering text because strings also contain the size information which is necessary for me to iterate over this the text. Do it manually is just a pain in the butt. Why not use the library? Okay, so let's say button and call it button. I'm gonna draw it in the center of the screen, as simple as it is, and initialize it as button.rect.x equals, I don't know, half of window. It's not gonna be exactly at the middle, but you know, half of window width, and the y is half of window y. The height, well, it should get the height information from the text, the render text, which in this case would be the height is the size plus a little bit of buffer, and the text length plus a little bit of a buffer is a width. So I still get back to this, to render text. Yeah, well, it's not rendering, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so it just does calculations anyway. I need these calculations. Come to think of it, I can do the calculations, store them, and then do the render. What does rendering actually do? Rendering takes two rects. No. I need to store much more information if I want to do that separately. Okay, I'll just do this. And then I do text length equal render text of the string is going to be button dot text. The font is going to be, let's say, Arial. I need to add new fonts like Times New Roman and stuff like that. That'll be nice. The size is going to be something that I'm going to feed it. It's going to be size, and t size. So I don't know if there's a variable with that name of size. Pen x is going to be this one. Wait, am I drawing it in the upper left corner? I think so, right? Yeah. Yep. Button rect x. And here I add the buffer, so I need to make two things. Int t size and int b buffer, so button buffer. I don't know if I called it that way. So the button buffer is 5. Where is it in German? And the t size, the size of the text, is going to be one of those standard sizes. Has to be one of those. So in this case, let's say, why are there so much spam, man? So much spam. Okay, size is gonna be 16. And button dot text is gonna be, let's call it button bouton. Yeah, bouton. That's what it's called. Text length, render text. Yeah, this is the X plus the buffer, and the Y is gonna be button.correct.y plus the buffer. And use kerning, but don't actually render, just to get the length. Actually, in this case, it doesn't matter. I'll get to it. So the height is going to be size plus 2 times the buffer, because up and down. And the width is going to be text length plus 2 times the buffer. And now, within the thing, I will actually render it. So here, I say, yeah, and it takes the size and the buffer, and this time actually render. Now, these are not necessary. Good. Now this should show us what Arial is not undeclared identifier. What? Thought you did. Oh, it's within a yeah. Sorry, it's within fonts.arial. Yeah, it's within a struct. Invalid font size. Wait, did I give it the wrong font size? What are you talking about? The font size 16 is a font. Something's fishy. Int size 32. Do I check for those as well? Oh, I don't check for the case of. I chose that one specifically. Good, I did. Funny. Okay. Yeah. Oh, forgot. I need to fill the rect. So I'm rendering the thing. I need to do these, but I think one of them is redundant. One of the last two is redundant. I need to render afterwards, and they are in the right way. Set render draw color, render fill rect. Well, let me see how that works. Oh, we forgot. I need to feed it bouton rect. Yep. Now we have, and the cool thing about this, I can call it bouton le bouton chat. And I run it, and yeah, it makes it as big as you might want it. But wait a second, it feels like the buffer on the top is a little bit more than on the bottom. Is that something to do with kerning and stuff, with bearing? What happens if I choose a larger font? Maybe this will make things easier to look at. What if I set size to 32? It is that way. I'm gonna take a look at this for a second. Where was the pictures? Where is pen X going exactly? Pen X. What is pen Y? Sorry. I need to go check what was the glyph. What was the glyph bearing? God, there must be some browsers less shitty than this. It's really, it's not shitty. It's just that it takes a lot of resources. Okay, so yeah, this is the one I want. So the pen X plus glyph bearing Y. I can't remember where the pen X where the pen starts from though. Like, is it top left? Actually, I could know that by just running the app. I mean, look, I am. You see, the reason why it's behind this is that I'm rendering before the pointer, rendering it after the pointer. So I need to render the pointer last thing. Yeah. So wait a minute. So apparently it does, like, I think it, I mean, look, if I put it here, there is some, look, on the X is no problem, it's just on the Y, or is it just me thinking that way? Because, wait, let me make it all caps, let's make it E's are really bulky, and it should show me if there's a problem. I don't think there is. I'm pedantic, just let me check this. A little bit longer than the pointer. Exactly, as long as the pointer. No, there is a problem. It is a little bit smaller. Well, maybe if I increase it, I mean, the problem is with the bearing, I think. Let me do 32. No, oh, it actually should be relative to the size, well, shouldn't it? Let me try that. Divided by 10 is 3 now. 4, no. If I make it a little bit wider, maybe these couple of pixels are not that big a deal. it's bouton le bouton bouton chapter. It still grinds my gear a little bit. I mean, I could. -2. It's a pixel or two. That's all. That's all. Yeah, this looks fine. But -2. Why -2 then? Blah, 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 blah. Height is the size plus the buffer, but the size. The problem is within the render text function, there's a lot of stuff that you have to change to fix that, so I'm probably not going to do that. So, okay, so we have the button. Call it bouton again, and let's make the size 16 again. Let's make it great again. Well, we have a button. It's really small. 24 is better. Yep. Now, as you can see, actually the pointer is a bit annoying at this point. Now, as you can see, we have a button here that is not clickable, but we have right now. Yeah, now we need to check whether the mouse position intersects with the rec, whether it's not intersects, whether it's within a rectangle. I think there's a. I think there is there's a function for this. SDL intersect point. Oh yeah, SDL point and rect. SDL really makes things easier for you regarding rectangles and stuff. Turns true if point resides inside rectangle or SDL false. No, I mean there's a way to do. I mean, it's also not that hard to write a code for this. It's just you check if it's within this and that. I mean, there's not that much. Yep. Now, if SDL point rect I need to point this, and here the point is going to be keys dot. Oh, I need to make a point. SDL point. Actually, I could store this within the keys. Where's the keys? But for that, I need to go here and update the mouse position here. Mouse dot x mouse.y. So this way I have to redo all these things now. Keys dot mouse and direct will be it. Direct is going to be button dot rect. Now, if this is true, I want you to set this render draw color to set the render draw color to like it's a green color, for example. Let's make it a little bit whiter, so make this 70 and 70. So paler green, I think that's what would make it. Else, set it back to this color. Now let's see. See? But actually, this would mean when I made this is why I would separate it. So I made this. I made it for a reason. So if this, then make button dot highlighted equals true. Again, I need to. It's only one line, you don't need to. Else. Actually, I could assert. How did I do that? If else question mark C++. How was that syntax for it? Yeah. You just make this. Is it true? If yes, set this button to true, else set button highlighted to false. This should be syntax correct, just a one line. And now I'm separating them into two just because so I could put this into a function to check on all buttons. Now, is it highlighted? If it's highlighted, I want you to do this. Otherwise, I want you to do this. Also, yeah, but it looks the same, but the difference is that we're depending on the button highlighted boolean, so that we can separate them into functions later. Okay, so now we have this. Now, I want to check if it's now, is it highlighted? I think we can do and. I don't know how far we can stretch these simple if statements, but they're really nice because they're so easy to write and don't need too much if and else and like lots of code. Is it button highlighted and keys dot mouse left is true, then I want you to button dot this thing is really annoying me. Clicked equals true, else button, else false. Can you do that? No. Okay. Now, and here I can check if the button was clicked. And if the button was clicked, then just set it to much darker, let's say 20. Let's see how that looks like. And it's wrong. Okay, sorry, just I have to think I have to make it like this. If the button was clicked, then set this that way. No, without this. See? We have it. We have a button that clicks. Now here I think we should make it darker, not a... But, ooh, ominous. Get the colors right. So now we have a button that clicks, and when you click on it, it changes the color. And I think that is a nice way to do it. Yeah, buttons now. It's not a big deal, but it is a big of a deal. We have lots of buttons and lots of stuff, so we should rather where do you store the information of where? I mean, ideally you would store the information of where everything in the GUI is in a separate file, and then read that from file, so you can edit outside. You know, it would be even cooler if you have an editor. But how much GUI are we going to make? It's this static thing that's not going to change. So in this case, we have a button. And we need to just feed it the button information. So the X and Y is the height and the width. The X and Y we can assign in the text. The rest would be assigned for you. Now if I take this, put it into void, maybe void, I don't know. Set up initialize button, init button. So button init, and I think you need to pass it button as a pointer. So and you need to pass it fonts and size. Actually, now that I'm here, I really should just put fonts and keys outside as global events. I mean, global variables. How many fonts, different fonts am I going to have? How many different keys? It's just one thing. And if it's one thing, just put it outside. This won't work like that though. I need to put it before main. Source dependent global variables. Yeah, I like this instruction site kind of barriers, but it just grabs your eye. You know where they are. You don't want to lose them, you know. And B buffer should be stored also in the all of them. The button text size, the button buffer size, all of them should be stored within the buffer. So size, text size, buffer size, okay. So button dot buffer size, button dot text size, and you also need to feed it. You need to give it the X and Y. So this is going to be X, this is going to be Y, and this is going to be text. You pass it a string text and an X. I think so, yeah, I think this is it. So I say to initialize button. So I put the button here. I initialize button, in this case button, and the text is going to be bouton, 2.0. The X is going to be this, and the Y is going to be this. The X is going to be this minus button. No, that's not gonna work. I saw it later. Okay. Well. That's it. So you need also to decide a size. String text. And size. And then give it font. Font colors is something I have to deal with later. How you change the color of things. Okay. So in this case, we just pass it font. You pass it It's not suggesting shit anymore. Buffer size. X and Y's. God, what was fun stuff? You need to pass the font itself. So give it a font stuff and give it a font. Oh, and in that case, you would want a texture for the font when it's highlighted, another texture for the font when it's clicked. And I'm not sure how to, how's the best way to do it. I mean, I could put them all. The thing is, it comes back to the same questions. They're only just going to make it darker or lighter, then it's not worth working on it so much. But if it's, what's this thing? Like isn't connected to font. That was surrender text. Okay, I'll get back to it. Drawing a rectangle is its own thing, but checking for the I have to store the color somewhere. Which is the best way to place it is here in button. I need to make an. I think there's an STL color spec for this. Yep. And if I go to where's main? And I say can just, instead of this, I'll do this and say set the color to button dot color dot red, green, blue, and alpha. In this case, the alpha would be 255. Now, checking for these things should be within the thing. So, in this case, I'm going to need an if statement. If, because there's a lot of stuff I'm going to be changing, then I want you to set button dot color dot x dot r equals 70 GBA. What do we say? 70, 100, 70, 255. If the color is highlighted. Now, else, I want you to set these to 50, 100, 50, this. No, no, this one. If the button is clicked, I want you to set these to, yep. Now, here, render text, button text, fonts, which is, where do I put the font? Where did I store the font even? I should store it in button. Okay. Button. Yeah. Plus button dot buffer size, button reply plus button dot buffer size. And so this should now we suddenly have no text whatsoever. What? Wait. Where do I put render GUI? Oh yeah, that makes sense. No, yeah, that wouldn't be a problem anyway. What if I just do this instead? Starting to get some wonky shit here. I think it's because I am asking it to take, I'm taking it by reference and referencing something that is a global variable. Let me see if there's a specific problem that you can fix in C++. Why isn't it working though? Well, there's a problem. Let me see if that's the problem first before I go nuts trying to. See, now they appear. They seem to be working, but as soon as I make them global, we have a problem. Because I'm pressing them by reference. And why though? Maybe it's just a specific problem because they have a different name. Like let's just call this underscore fonts. For example. Yeah, well, of course it will work, but if I make this a global variable again. Nope. It's a weird bug. It's a weird bug. I don't know. I'll leave it there for a second. I mean, I could put them all in one struct again. Actually, that would make it. Yeah, that would make it work. I think that would make it work. Okay, so let's make a struct called global, and inside of it we'll have keys and fonts, for example. We'll put them in here and make global G. G.fonts, G.keys, and you just pass it a global thing. '92. Source S92. Yeah, okay, so I'll make them. It's not a big deal. Actually, I'll just put them here. That's the better place for them, to be honest. Okay, now we have a button, texture, and it is running. So for now, we have set up the GUI. Still working on it. Buttons are okay. We're done with buttons. Next time we'll do. We'll finish the buttons. What is there to finish? I mean, we're gonna have to start to think more details in that case. We have to start to make the mini games that I wanted to make. The mini games of the mixer. I think I'd like to start with the mixer. I'd like to start with a simple working formula of trying to mix like element A plus B equals C and stuff like that. And a simple. It's raining like shit outside. In a simple way to combine things, a gameplay way to combine things, to snap things, it's gonna take time working on this. So in this case, I think I'd rather make the next goal mixer. So the mixer, because that when I do that, I wanted to pop a small window for us within the game. And we use that window to mix stuff, and yeah, I have to also think about whether we want a game to run in the background, or whether we want to pause it and do that, and get it to start doing the things we want it to do, like mixing stuff, and yeah, I think this is the next goal. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you then. I'll see you next time then.